Okay, thank you so much. And here we go again on a very exciting journey. Talk about sports, and indeed, we are here, the gladiators. Are we gladiators? No, we are not gladiators. We are big presenters, and I am here. My name is Tony Ubane, and
I'm Damilola Ogushaki.
okay, Damilola Ogushaki and Tony Ubane, a very good pay. And of course, when we are together, and of course, she brings out this smile. You know that indeed we have a lot of things to give. Today is very, very special, especially the fact that we are talking about boxing, boxing in the world, boxing in Nigeria. We'll be giving you a lowdown, very, very special thing when it comes to boxing. It brings out the best in me, because I've always admired, what it is. I love seeing people being beaten. I love people who take punches, and of course, I love people at the end, seeing somebody's hands being raised. We'll be talking about the world heavyweight boxing that, of course, envelopes every other thing concerning sports. This weekend, talk about Dento Wilder and Tyson Fury. They're the biggest punchers in the land. We'll be coming down to them, and of course, we're equally going to give you analysis of all the other best boxers that retired. They have opinions on whose hand will be raised at the end of Saturday. And also, we look into the Nigerian boxing scene for the Olympic qualifiers. We'll be coming back to that. And of course, the Nigerian Professional Football League, Dami will equally, just take a very periscope on that. Hooliganism seems to be, rearing its ugly head back. And of course, today too, there are rescheduled matches in the Nigerian Professional Football League. Enyimba International will be home against Kwara United, and Rangers International of Enugu will equally be home against Kano Pillars. These rescheduled matches are happening because of the fact that the two teams, Enyimba and Rangers, were involved in continental assignments. But I must tell you, the Rangers had since gone through the back door. And we'll equally be looking at Yobo, Joseph Yobo, who has become an assistant coach of Nigeria. Because flurry of queries on why should it be Yobo, and Yobo himself has equally talked. We equally look at Odion Igalo, the history that he has made. But my producer says he's making history the wrong way, but I think that will later come back. We'll be coming back, and that's exactly how we roll. And Damilola again, boxing, the eyes of the world will be on boxing, and we are looking at Dento Wilder and Tyson Fury, the heavyweight boxing champion that the world have really been looking forward to.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to Saturday because Tyson Fury said he's going for a knockout victory in the rematch, and that he does not intend to dance around this time. That he really wants to, he wants to stay close to Wilder and test, and do a lot of testing to his chin as much as possible. So I'm really looking forward to this one coming up on Saturday, and a lot of people are putting interest. Everybody's saying they are all saying some say that maybe that's a Fury, that's a Wilder or Tyson Fury, one of them. So we're looking forward to it.
Okay, we're looking forward to it, and indeed we are, not just us here in the studio. The world itself will be looking forward, to that boxing, comes forth at the Grass Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Dento Wilder versus Tyson Fury. The very first time they fought, it ended in a draw. And of course, the combatants themselves were not happy that it ended in a draw. One thing that happened remarkably was the fact that Dento Wilder floored Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury equally got up, and they ended in a draw. So many controversial draw it was, because so many other boxers or boxing pundits, aficionados, some of them thought that Wilder had an upper hand, and so many other people equally believes that Fury, had the upper hand. And of course, this time around, the two boxers, like Dami had said, they had vowed that there will be no retreat, no surrender. There will be nobody is going to separate them. There must be a winner this time around. And Tyson Fury is saying that it will not go beyond the second round. And that sounds so odd, knowing the ferocity of Wilder's punches. And today, we're looking at so many other boxers. George Foreman, you know him. George Foreman has predicted, and of course, Anthony Joshua, who is equally expectantly looking forward to the match, because any of these winners will definitely come his way. He's equally looking at it. Mike Tyson, the bull, remember him in his heydays? He was the one that was knocking out people, especially in knockout And so many fans, I remember that when he was boxing, if you do not enter the ring early, before you take your seat, the opponent had been floored. That's the ferocity, the punch power of Mike Tyson. Tyson has equally predicted. We'll be looking at so many other boxers today that are equally putting their mouth where their money is. They are tested boxers, people whose punches, of course, could break the iron. Talk about Sugar Ray Leonard. And you know one thing about him, the name Sugar excites me just as sugar excites the brain. You know, because when Sugar Ray punches, he dances. You know, it brings excitement, you know, with his footwork. That's, to me, you know, made boxing what it was. Sugar Ray Leonard, today Sugar Ray Leonard has looked at the opponent and said that it's going to be a pretty tough, audience task for the boxers. But one person that Sugar Ray Leonard has, you know, come out to predict will be the winner is the Bronze Bomber. Talk about Dento Wilder. He says Dento Wilder has the punches, and of course he has the aggressiveness. Do you agree with Sugar Ray Leonard that Dento Wilder will at the end, you know, reign, spring, win, beat Tyson Fury?
I have a lot of this that maybe Deontay Wilder will win, because even the Tyson Fury has said it that Deontay Wilder, when it comes to his punches, that his punches are really heavy. So you know, Tyson was saying that that's why this time around he didn't get Ben, you know, to train him. That he didn't want Ben to train him, that because you know he's not going to agree to his own strategy. He doesn't need strategy. All he just knows that he wants to win, and he's thinking that maybe during the match that Deontay Wilder might actually, you know, quit and say no, he's not doing it again. But we're looking forward to it, and I believe maybe Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, any one of them. But I'm looking forward to this match. That is what and I think you get excited when you're talking about boxing. I was looking at you talking about it, and I think I should ask you also, what do you think about it? Is it Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury?
Yeah, beautiful. I'll definitely my comment, you know, of no significance when you talk about boxers like George Foreman. George Foreman, when you talk about boxing, you remember George Foreman, you remember Muhammad Ali, the very sweet boxers of our time. George Foreman himself has equally looked at the two boxers who will take the world by storm on Saturday, and George Foreman has already, you know, predicted that as tough as it's going to be, you know, that his money will be on Dento Wilder. Not just only George Foreman, AJ, Anthony Joshua, the Nigerian-born British boxer who has ruled the world and of course lost, you know, his belt and equally came back, you know, has equally, you know, predicted that this time around that Tyson Fury will definitely be furious, you know, when he fights Dento Wilder. And AJ, we call him from Abeokuta, says that Dento Wilder will definitely kiss the canvas when he fights Tyson Fury. That's AJ, Anthony Joshua, and indeed Michael Tyson. Oh my God, anytime I just remember this boy, he was a bully. I remember his neck, you know, that time there was nothing that we could not compare, you know, with his punches, with his neck. And of course, the way he stomps into the ring, you know, like somebody who is being electrified somewhere, thumping his feet, and of course, you know, just hitting his punches, you know, in the air, trying as much as possible to bring you down before the boxing itself starts. Some boxers do not look into Michael Tyson's eyes, because that alone, you know, could just bring them down. Mike Tyson today has said that the boxing that the world will be looking forward to at the weekend on Saturday precisely is going to be as tough as it has always been. So many people even predicted, they asked a question, it was Dento Wilder that started it and said, if he were to be around when Mike Tyson was fighting, that he would have floored Mike Tyson. The world was against. So many people were shocked. Some people were bemused, and indeed, the boxing world kept coughing. And when Tyson was asked if Wilder would have taken him out, he said, you never can tell that in boxing anything can happen. That's the maturity of Mike Tyson. Tyson ordinarily would not have said that when he was much younger. But we do know that Tyson was a bull, and of course, you know, he took out so many boxers out in his prime. Today, Mike Tyson is predicting that the fight will go a very long way, and indeed, he's looking forward to Dento Wilder because of his aggressiveness, the power in his punches, you know, will definitely do that for him. From that, we'll move on You know, we've talked about George Foreman, we have talked about Anthony Joshua and Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, we have talked about it. Manny Pacquiao, you remember him? If you remember Manny Pacquiao, if you remember Mayweather, you know, these they talk about the man that has the best money in the world, so much money, you know, but then Mayweather, you know, sent Manny Pacquiao out. Manny Pacquiao today is equally predicting, saying that the fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury will be very, very difficult to predict. But when asked to place his money where he thinks his head is, Manny Pacquiao stuck with Wilder. Almost everybody is going the way of Deontay Wilder, the bronze bomber they call him. And anytime he talks, he says he's going to kill. That when he comes into the ring, there is this energy in him, there is this enthusiasm about him killing, that he wants to leave somebody flat dead on the mat. That's Deontay Wilder. He wants to kill. And if you look at Tyson Fury, you know, his height, he's a giant of a person.
Yes.
And Deontay Wilder says he's going to kill if possible. And then I'm equally scared when boxers like George Foreman, Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard are all giving it to Deontay Wilder.
But we also have people giving it to Tyson, and you know, like they said, you can't predict anything when it comes to boxing. You can't predict anything. I think that is why this match is really interesting a lot of people, because of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury, as I said, saying that he's ready for this match, he's ready for this rematch. There's not going to be a third one this time around. Is going to take Deontay Wilder down. And we have people who are saying that Deontay Wilder will take Tyson Fury down flat. So that is why people are really looking forward to this match, on this rematch on Saturday.
Okay, if you're still watching us, it's Vanguardlive, the sports segment, and today is an exclusive. We are doing unboxing, previewing the heaviest boxing fight that will take this world by storm. Talk about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. If you're just joining us, perhaps you have just missed some beautiful, you know, ones that we've talked. Not to worry, because we're just running down, you know. We now move into Thomas the Hitman Hands, Thomas Hands. If you are a boxing enthusiast, you remember him, and of course you remember his left and right combinations, the way he jumps, and of course the way he ducks. You know, when some people are boxing, he comes in and then, you know, he takes his face away from such punches, and when you are trying to gain balance, that's the time he delivers, you know, the deadly punches. Thomas the Hands, the Hitman they call him today, he too has equally taken a stand, and his stand is equally on Deontay Wilder. Why Wilder? Everybody, all the big boxers, you know, my favorite boxers, everybody is giving it to Wilder. And here you are too, you know, even from the way you answer questions, somehow you are invariably
no, I'm not giving it to Wilder. I'm just saying, you know, when it comes to boxing, there's nothing else you can't predict, and it's really anticipated, and I'm anticipating it. So far, I think it's the most anticipated match so far. So I'm not giving it to Wilder, but I'm looking forward to it, and I believe either one of them.
Definitely.
I'm not belting on Wilder, and I'm not betting on Tyson.
Okay, you don't. Naturally, women don't want to place money once it comes to betting. But then Vanguardlive sports segment, and indeed, you know, Tony and Dami taking a preview of the greatest fighting that will definitely envelop the world at the weekend. Talk about Saturday. We have looked at Thomas the Hitman, the Hands, and then we go to a boxer that was very, very exciting on the mat. Talk about Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield made history, and of course, let's not go into his social life, let's not go into his private life. You know, most of these boxers, because of so much money that come their way, so much temptation equally follows. Let's not go into that. We are talking about prediction, and indeed, Evander Holyfield has equally killed behind the likes of Thomas the Hitman the Hand, Sugar Ray Leonard, George Foreman, Anthony Joshua, Mike Tyson, and indeed Evander Holyfield says that Wilder has the staying power, and of course he has the aggressiveness, he has the punch, you know, and of course that's why they call him the bomber. And of course that from what he has seen, quoting Evander Holyfield, you know, that Wilder will definitely be very, very wide, you know, once it comes to boxing. Not just only him. Let's move out because of time. I see my producer, of course, you know, waving his head. Perhaps I'm being carried away by my joy and love for boxing. Let's move to Mickey Garcia. He too was a boxer of note. And then from there to Carl Frampton. These are two boxers they too have equally come to stake their money, stake, their say where it matters most. And all these boxers, talk about Mike Garcia and Carl Frampton, have joined the likes of Evander Holyfield, Thomas Hitman, the Hens, Sugar Ray Leonard, George Foreman, and of course Mike Tyson. All of them have predicted huge behind the bronze bomber. Talk about Dento Wilder. Anthony Joshua remains solidly behind his British counterpart, talking about Tyson Fury. That's Anthony Joshua. Is he lonely, or is it patriotism? Is Anthony Joshua being blinded by patriotism, or is it the fact that so many Nigerians that I've spoken to, most of them are praying that Tyson Fury beats Wilder? And when you ask them why, because they want Tyson Fury to come and fight Anthony Joshua, so that because they see that Wilder is a bull, he can kill.
So
is that your position?
No. A lot of people are saying that they want Tyson Fury to win the fight because they don't want Anthony Joshua to face Wilder. But even if Anthony Joshua doesn't face Wilder now, he's not facing later on. So that is it. So we shouldn't say that he should just win Tyson Fury. Just look at who is going to win it. So that's why people are saying that's why AJ is the handsome Nigerian guy is facing is supporting Tyson Fury. But I don't believe. I think he's looking beyond that.
We are looking at former boxers. We are looking at George Foreman. We are looking at Mike Tyson. We are looking at Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas the Hitman, the Hens, Evander Holyfield. We are looking at Mike Garcia. We are looking at Carl Frampton. We are looking at Mayweather. We are looking at all these heavyweight boxers. If these heavyweight boxers can queue behind Wilder, I think they are making me to change. Perhaps I want to move, to the side of Dento Wilder.
Dento Wilder, but Nigerians are in support of Tyson Fury.
Nigerians are being blinded by patriotism. They don't want anybody that will come and, disfigure the beautiful face of Anthony Joshua when Wilder wins.
No, I think Anthony Joshua also is able. Of course, he's going to practice. He's going to do a lot of this training if he wants to face Wilder. So we should believe that he can also face Wilder.
Okay, thank you so much. If you're still listening to us, it's Vanguardlive, the sports segment being anchored by Tony Ubane, and of course my beautiful lady who is here smiling. We're just taking a preview of the heavyweight boxing championship that definitely will rock the world this weekend, and don't ever try to miss it, because this boxing, when they talk about boxing, if you don't watch it, it's unlike other sports where people want to come and tell you this person scored a goal on so this thing, or handball or basketball. We are talking about punch to punch heavyweight boxing championship coming up on Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas. That's the much we can take on boxing. Talking about the World Boxing Arena. Let's now move on to the Nigerian local scene, the boxing championships. We've really been looking forward to the qualification series of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, and our boxers have really been in camp for over 2 weeks, but something unfortunately happened yesterday. They called off their camp and decamped them and said, go home, there is no money for you to continue boxing. And it has elicited a lot of reactions. Many people are asking, why is it that the boxers are being decamped? There's so much dismay, disappointment, of course, the boxers are complaining. One particular person who has really been very angry is Anthony Konyegwatie, who is the head coach of the Nigerian boxers. He spoke and they said, that he's disappointed that the boxers have been decamped. And from what we are hearing, snippets from what we gathered from the sports ministry out there in Abuja, where Sunday Dare, the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, presides, is that the minister is being realistic this time around. He does not want, any sport that is not going to bring a medal to go on a jamboree for Nigeria. That's perhaps why they say there is nothing for boxing.
Yes, but a lot of people are also saying that they should have given them a chance to go. But the information that people heard is that it was because of money that they told them to go home. And people are saying that how can Nigeria say that they should go home? Something that we've looked forward to. We look forward to seeing those people in the Olympics. And a lot of people are buying them that yes, they're going to do good. And boxing is something that also interests a lot of people in Nigeria, not just football and other things. So we've been looking forward to this, but I'm just telling them to go. So that is why people are asking this, and we are saying that you don't know if they will get the medal. Their response is there, that why don't you give them a chance to see if they will give them the medal or not, because it's like we don't believe in them and this, so we don't know why this, but I believe the minister knows why it is and why this boycott go.
When you talk about boxing in the early 80s, 70s, and 90s, boxing used to be, at the forefront of any sporting engagement Nigeria has. My producer here, earlier told me this is boxing. Imagine the way they are treating boxing, where we had the likes of Peter Konyewachie, whose younger brother now is the coach of the Nigerian boxers that have in the camps, Anthony Konyewachie. Remember, so many boxing greats, that brought fame, honor to this country. It is that same sport now that cannot even find its leg, cannot even find its bearing on the boxing ring. They have decamped them and they say, go home and rest. We do not have money to spend on frivolities. Frivolities, that's my word, not their word, but then that's exactly what it means. Go home and rest. Perhaps you will watch from the TV and see how great boxers do it and bring honor to their country. From there, we move on to the Nigerian Football Professional League. The other time, we talked about hooliganism, and of course, we talked about the match between Eyimba and their sister club, Abia Warriors. And today, it is at the front burner. That match had been played. We saw hooliganism rearing its ugly head again, fans encroaching the field, objects being thrown, so many dangerous objects, cordials being used. As I speak to you, the chairman of Eyimba Football Club, Felix Ayanseago, award-winning man, administrator, is still lying in the hospital with his broken head. And of course, so many other people who were less fortunate, in getting hit up in that fracas. Hooliganism, how do we curb hooliganism in Nigerian sports, especially football?
I think the best way to curb this hooliganism is just to, there should be stricter rules that we, stop these people from reacting. Because if you look at it, it's just simple things that lead to this. Even some of them don't really make sense. In the case of this Eyimba versus Abia United, with the fans coming into the field and saying, why will he catch the ball? Why are their fans, why are they rejoicing that the goalkeeper caught the ball and the penalty didn't go through? And so this caused a lot of people coming into the field, shouting, throwing items, and causing injuries to people. So I think there should be stricter rules, stricter ways to stop these people from doing this when it comes to football, because it's really going to affect a lot of people. You're going to watch this ball and say, I don't know what will happen today, I don't know what will happen tomorrow. So it's really going to affect. So we should look for a way, stricter ways to curb this, stricter rules.
Absolutely, I agree with Damilola. There must be stricter penalties, for the offending fans. And club should equally provide enough security. As in, there are so many. Most times you go to the stadium, you do not even get up to 5 policemen that are on guard, and most of them that come to the stadium, they come there with their batons. Some of these batons are even chopped. Just to telling you how the economy has equally affected the weapon that the Nigerian players, use in matches. And stricter penalties should be given to the fans. And sometimes, most of these clubs, the clubs themselves know the unruly fans. Some of these fans that bring a lot of trouble at the stadium, they know them. Ordinarily, what we see, from the EPL and La Liga, once there is any section that brings a lot of trouble, talk about hooliganism, such fans are equally brought out and of course banned. But here, people just go scot-free without anything. And that match had been replayed. The match was replayed the following day because the Nigeria Professional Football League, equally on their own, are doing everything to, curb hooliganism. The match was now played, without fans. It was played in an indoor without fans at Okigwe. And Eyimba International came out to show them, we are your elder brothers and you should not anger us. And they hammered them 4-1.
4-1, and that is what I think that's what the fans were trying to prevent. According to what people are saying, that why, and we have people who are saying that why should you play it in the why you shouldn't allow the fans to come in. And so this situation, and they replayed the match 4-1. Yeah, they really showed them, yes, that we are the elder brother and you should pay respect to us.
And that's how it is. And as I talk to you today, Enyimba International will equally be on the match again today in Aba. That's their tempo. Enyimba International will be hosting Kwara United, while Rangers International will be at home against Kano Pillars. Kano Pillars are looking for precious points, 3 points. If they could just get that from Enugu, that perhaps might just catapult them to the zenith of the log of the Nigerian Professional Football League. But Rangers desperately needs these 3 points so that they could just take them out from the relegation zone and of course put them into safety. Rangers, Kano Pillars.
Rangers, Kano Pillars.
In Enugu.
In Enugu. We are looking forward to the match, and we just hope the match they can get the point that they want. What the point that people are looking forward to, we hope they can get it. It depends on their own views. I would just hope this same thing that happened with this Enyimba and United doesn't happen there. Just like you said, that the security, they should look at the security measures when it comes to these footballs, and they should be like different security. And I just think they should check them, and each people, they should know their own. They should know the people that causes these things in their own. I think since this is not the first time, you should know the people that when they are coming to the field, the things that they are capable of doing. And you should be able to separate them. Not you can't stop them totally from coming to watch them play. There are people playing, but there should be ways that you can prevent these things from happening.
We give kudos to the Nigerian Professional Football League. The Nigerian League has become so interesting. We have always said it over and over again that now nobody can predict where the pendulum of victory will swing. Rangers International versus Kano Pillars today, and also Enyimba International of Aba versus Kwara United. The rescheduled matches, because of the involvement of Enyimba and Rangers in continental shows, that's why these matches were rescheduled. The Nigerian Professional Football League will call on you, to do what you have been doing right, to ensure hooliganism is totally eliminated from Nigerian League. And of course, it brings so much joy at the time that we are hailing the Nigerian Professional Football League. It disturbs my heart, when we begin to see very unsavory, situations at our match venues. And indeed, we want these matches to go on without hooliganism. From there, Joseph Yobo, assistant coach of the Super Eagles. And what's your take on that?
My take is that, he has been saying that he's going to bring his international experience. He's going to use it to help the Super Eagles, especially when it comes to the defense. That it will help them, and he will take the training, he will train them, and it will be good. And a lot of people are saying that since he has the experience, of course they believe that he will do well. And he actually said that he's really happy to work alongside the coach. That is very happy to work alongside him since he has started coaching Nigeria team. He has really helped them, and the history has really changed. So he's really happy to work beside them, and I hope Yobo will actually be able to show his international. So when it comes to consider he has captained the Super Eagles, to their third cup. So
African
I
Cup of
believe
Nations
yes, African
victory.
Cup of Nations victory. He has got that. So we believe that he can use his international experience to help them, especially in the defense team.
Joseph Yobo, that's the gentleman, and I must tell you, Joseph Yobo remains the most capped player in Nigerian history, dead or alive. That's a record nobody can take away from him. Joseph Yobo is a gentleman. Joseph Yobo analyzes football well on TV, and of course he reads matches, as if he's a robot. So many people are applauding the appointment of Joseph Yobo. But one question that keeps coming up is, what credential does Joseph Yobo has to become a coach in Nigeria?
What credential does he
Yes.
have?
He has never gone to any coaching school. He has not gone to Nigerian Institute of Sports, NIS. So many players, once they retire, they upgrade their knowledge. This is Yobo just coming out. He's a fresher. He's a greenhorn. He's just coming, just bringing himself, wearing lovely suits and perhaps just going to stay. And people are criticizing that he has no prerequisite knowledge of coaching.
But a lot of people are also looking at his experience. That he has the experience with things, so he should be able to know what he can do. He should be able to deliver. So for you to make him this, of course, definitely he should be able to deliver. Be able to see his performance as a coach, assistant coach.
I totally agree with you, Damilola, because Joseph Yobo has the experience. He's a model. He's a role model to some of these players. And Joseph Yobo, for that height that he has attained, I think the players will definitely be looking forward to him. When Joseph Yobo stands around they now, I think, they give them, there is this enthusiasm that it breathes into them that one day, perhaps we too can be as Joseph Yobo, because there is so much security. The Nigerian Football Federation have shown that indeed they care for the welfare of Nigerian players by bringing Joseph Yobo to be, among the assistant coaches of the Nigerian professional football. Like Damilola said earlier, Joseph Yobo had promised that he's going to steady the defense of the Super Eagles, and of course, he's going to be one of the best defense of all the national teams in Africa. Quoting him, he said the defense of the Super Eagles is going to be impregnable. That means nobody can penetrate into them again. And Joseph Yobo, we remember him captain at home, captain at abroad when he was playing for Everton, and of course went, had a little stint in Turkey. He's my favorite player, very, very handsome guy he is, and of course he plays football, without enmity. Joseph Yobo for you, and we say congratulations to Joseph Yobo, and of course we wish him the best. Before we go, let's talk about one man who has become, synonymous with football in Nigeria. Once you talk about football, in the Premier League in England, his name comes up, Odion Eyalo. Finally, Odion Eyalo, we saw him, becoming the first Nigerian to play for Manchester United. And of course, how did the match go? Was it impressive?
The match was impressive. He was able to impress people within the 5 minutes that he was on the field. He was able to impress a lot of people. Although there are some people who said that he was unable to score the goal with the target. That he should have made it like. I
hope you're not throwing the line of our producer. It's difficult for anybody to impress Dozie. Once he comes, he wanted him to do American Wonder. Just in how many minutes?
5 minutes, but actually he impressed a lot of people with just that 5 minutes. It made it known. He made people know that yes, he had goals on the field.
People like Dozie wanted him to score about 3 goals in just 3 or 4 minutes.
No, but we believe that in the next match he will be able to show his performance. These people were really happy. I actually watched an interview with someone from Ajegule, and it was like I played with he had when he was in Ajegule. We played together and we had together. But now he's doing well. He owns the shop. He said, "Is it where I own the shop?" But that he's happy because he's showing people, he's telling people that you can actually have a dream and achieve it. You shouldn't just dream.
Absolutely.
You won't dream like to just be in your room, but it's something that yes you can achieve. So that is why a lot of Nigerians it has brought the hope of people up that yes they can achieve their dreams. So
you believe in people dreaming and
working hard towards it, not just dreaming and sitting and expecting it to come to your table.
Just like
Of course
somebody outside here who is dreaming of perhaps having you being his wife. He can work towards it.
No comment on that.
No comment on that. Absolutely, we saw Odion Eyalo came. He had an opportunity to make history, of course, scoring a goal on his debut, but he could not. But we just saw little dazzle. He did dazzle, and of course, he showed his fitness, and his fitness level was very, very good to Ole Shoziagona. And indeed, the Manchester United, they ran away 2-0 at the bridge. It's not a moi thing. It's not just something that can come easily. Odion Eyalo has an opportunity of equally making history tomorrow when Manchester United play Club Brugge in the Europa League, and I think that's a very beautiful one for him. And after that, after the continental matches or the Europa League matches, Odion Eyalo has a more beautiful opportunity of playing against his former club. Talk about Watford. That's the next fixture that Odion Eyalo, after the Europa League matches tomorrow, Odion Eyalo will be opportune. Perhaps the Manchester United coach will give him an opportunity of going out there to shine against their club, Watford. And we know how it is when clubs are given that opportunity. Go and play against your former club. Show them who you are. You have upgraded to Manchester United, coming all the way from Shanghai Central. That club, it makes me, it's very, very funny the way they pronounce it. But here it is, Odion Eyalo has come back to stay. He has made history, the first Nigerian to play for the Red Devils, and of course the first Nigerian that made the 200 persons to have played for Manchester United. Making history the right way or the wrong way. Don't go the way of Dozie. Dozie doesn't, he says that's, he doesn't see anything history about that. Making that, if you want to make history, score goal and make history.
He made history that one. A lot of people were also expecting him to score goal and make history, but we believe he will do it tomorrow. It doesn't necessarily have to be yesterday, but he has done a lot of. He has made history 200 and it's not actually easy to be the first Nigerian, to play for Manchester United. It's really like he has made history.
And absolutely, that's a very fantastic history. Well, if you ask me, for you to become the first Nigerian, check our population and then you know what it is for you to be the first person to ever play for a very big club like Manchester United. That's a very bigger history that he has made. We pray that he continues. Tomorrow in the Europa League, if they give him that opportunity, he could make history. There are chances for him to make history even when he plays against his former club, Watford. Remember that when he played in Watford, he scored goals, at ease, and of course, with the opportunity that has been given to him, and of course, starting on a high, beating, a bigger club like Chelsea, 2-0 at home, his confidence level has equally skyrocketed. That's exactly the size of sports on Vanguardlive. If you have enjoyed us, please don't go away, because we will definitely come back to give you, some other analysis on this boxing. It's the topical issue. Everybody is talking about boxing, and remember that today we had very beautiful opportunities to talk about boxing. Dento Wilder and Tyson Fury, and we have talked about all the former boxers that have come out to air their opinions and saying this is where the victory is going to be. We're looking forward whose hand is going to be raised up. Will it be Dento Wilder? Will it be Tyson Fury? And my partner here on set, you're dancing like a butterfly. You just Tyson Fury, Dento Wilder.
No, I won't pick. Let's wait till Saturday for I'll decide it. Yes, and it's going to go on. And I will touch on about Lampard and that's Lampard, the Chelsea coach. After this Monday match with Ihalo and Chelsea and Manchester United, people were like Lampard. A lot of Chelsea fans were lamenting and tweeting on Twitter. They were like, Lampard should come down.
Yeah.
He should come down. They should sack him. Someone actually tweeted and said, I don't know what he's doing there, because he's not an intelligent coach. And looking at Lampard has been someone that people have been praising and saying that yet he's doing well, but recently, like Chelsea, their performance has really been poor, and considering they are just 1 point ahead of the fifth people that are Tottenham, and Tottenham they have a match with them in the weekend, and that's their fifth and their fourth. So the points
their Champions League position, the top four, that's is in the balance.
Even the top four people are saying that it's because the people in the first they are not really doing well. Also, that's why Chelsea was able to stay in before that they would have gone down looking at their performance. So that's why people are calling that Lampard should he should be sacked.
But I'm not telling you, that has always been fans. Anytime fans will always be fans. They sing their praise today, just like what happened to Jesus Christ. Hail him for all the things. The next moment, crucify him. And Lampard, if you ask me, he's a legend at the bridge. But besides that, they want results. As in their number 4 position is being threatened with the coming up of Tottenham, Manchester United, so many other clubs, and they just have to try as much as possible to garner points and for Lampard to do well. Lampard had really done well. He started very, very well, but then shoe gets size, as they say it in local parlance.
Yes, and we're just hoping that this their next match will bring a positive result to them. And we have Tottenham on Misson. Misson he won't be playing for the rest of the season. According to what they're saying, because he has an injury, and that injury actually is going to need surgery for
he landed awkwardly, and Mourinho had really been crying, losing him, because that guy remains a very, very vibrant factor, in the attacking formation of Tottenham.
Yes, and he's going to need injury for that. And after the injury, he need to rest for it and relax the arm, so he might not be available for the remainder of the season. So, but we are looking forward to their match with Chelsea over the weekend.
I don't like taking your predictions because you waver. Just behave like Nigerian conductors. Neither here nor there. But that's the size of sports on Vanguard. If you have really enjoyed us, please stay tuned, because with her we bring excitement to bear when you watch us, and of course we give you the best of analysis, the best way we can do from the Nigerian perspective. I remain Tony Obane, and of course, she is Damilola. We'll come back away, and when we come, we'll give you juicy stories that you can always use.